Good evening. Hope you had a wonderful Labor Day, Monday, September 2nd. Our hearts are intertwined with the people in the Bahamas and in the Florida, the coastline there, South Carolinas and Georgia, just the southeast region of the country. We're praying for God's mercy and his calm to let there be recovery from the devastation from those storms. We're also praying for the violence in the city, even though the mayor touted that the numbers are down. I was so disturbed, this being the eve of the Chicago Public Schools going back to class tomorrow, and the young man in the West Side, 15 years old, who was shot dead in the Austin area. And it was just so evil the way it happened. Someone called him on the phone, and I don't know if it was a friend or associate, but they're like, yeah, come on out, and shot him like 5 times. God, have mercy. It's still, I think we're around 37, 38 who have been shot, and that's down from the numbers from last year, but any number is horrible, and we need to intercede more than ever. We're in 1Sam.25, and then we're going to go to Proverbs 2, but the chapter in Samuel opens up with the namesake Samuel transitioning, going to glory, dying, and it's bittersweet seeing that, just recalling how Hannah prayed for him, and in chapter 3 of 1 Samuel, how he was growing in every area. He was established. Everyone saw that he was called to be a prophet, and the Lord just revealed himself more and more as he grew up. And that's one person we could say who lived a very fruitful, productive, flourishing life. And that is from Psalms 92:14, where those who are rooted and grounded and planted in the Lord's work will be able to bring forth great things even into old age. So Samuel lived a prosperous life. Well, someone who, like I said, was the opposite, who lived a very selfish, evil life, was Nabal. And he was very rich. He had 3,000 cattle and just lots of land. And he insulted David when David was like, hook my men up, with whatever you can, food, supplies. We protected you and your shepherds while you all were out there. And Nabal was like, I don't know you all. The son of Jesse, who is this? And word got back to David, and he was like, let me grab my sword and all the men. We're about to go out. But it's because of someone who stayed, right? Just from this morning, that word where David stayed his men when they wanted to go get Saul. Remember in the cave of En-Gedi? Well, Abigail, who was Nabal's wife, stayed David, and she was able to give food and supplies and just hook them up. And he said, oh, bless you, that you were so wise, and she prophesied on him as far as his kingdom, and she knew what to do. She fell to the ground. She was just bowing. She was humble, and she found favor, and eventually she became his wife. But what I had to say again is, are we the ones who are interceding those, because we know that this murder probably in the West Side was because of a reaction or retaliation, but we have to teach others how to slow down and to dialogue, amen, and to stay the hand of the enemy. My son was able to bring in insight, and he said verse 29 spoke to him. So let's read that. 25:29 says, yet a man is risen to pursue thee and to seek thy soul, but the soul of my Lord shall be bound in the bundle of life with the Lord thy God, and the soul of thy enemies. Them shall he sling out as out of the middle of a sling. That's the King James Version. Timotheus said, God's will in our life is more powerful than anyone, and when he has a plan for our life, we have to be careful and meticulous when carrying out his will. It's important, no cap. We just wasting space, basically, if we out in the world up to no good. Oh, hallelujah. I hope he carries that on his campus and be a difference maker and be the intercessor for the evil that's even happening out in the state that he's in. God has planted him there on assignment to be the Abigail or to be the David to stay the hand of the enemy when he wants to advance. Hallelujah. And in Proverbs 2:10, when wisdom enters into our heart and knowledge is pleasant unto our soul, the promise is discretion will preserve us and understanding will keep us from the way of the evil man, from that person who's speaking forward things. So we are called to be the peacemakers and the one who's praying against all this evil that is surrounding us. But guess what? God's grace is the circumference and his compass around us with songs of deliverance. So we have nothing to fear. Let's be busy, you all. Have a good evening in the Lord and enjoy his blessings.